it made me more aware of what the role of printmaking was. Printmaking has always been a la ofensiva, to offense, to attack, to denounce things that are wrong.
Hello, print friends, and welcome back to our 7th season. We are back from our winter break and looking forward to sharing more stories from the printmaking world. This is a bilingual podcast, so if you subscribe to us in English with me, you'll get episodes in Spanish with Reynaldo Gil Zambrano. Together, we speak with people around the globe about their practice and passions in the field of print media and multiples. This episode is brought to you by Legion Paper. Legion Paper is a fine art paper company that represents the best papers in the world. They either stock it, source it, or make it. With brands like Stonehenge, Somerset, Coventry, Reeves, Arches, and more, Legion is the best paper resource for every artist and printmaker's needs. Learn more about the variety of papers Legion stocks at www.legionpaper.com. My guest this week is Fraixa Albizu Rodriguez, a talented printmaker and educator based in San Juan, Puerto Rico. In this episode, we dive into her practice, exploring how childhood experiences shape her work, her founding of Ciclos Gráficos, a nonprofit dedicated to printmaking portfolios, and we chat about the rich history of printmaking in Puerto Rico. Fraixa is also collaborating with Reynaldo and me on an upcoming documentary about printmaking on the island, which we're excited to start filming next month during the SGCI conference in San Juan. You'll hear more about this project in our conversation, and if you'd like to support it, visit helloprintfriend.com/PR2025. We're currently fundraising, and as thank yous, we're offering prints starting at just $35. Now let's dive in. Hi, Fraixa. How's it going?
Hi, Miranda. How are you? I'm doing good.
I'm good. I'm so happy we're having a chance to catch up and steal some time from one another during this busy season with all the exciting plans we have on the horizon, and that I get a chance to just learn more about you as an artist and a founder and a public printmaking figure.
So they say.
And I'd love to just dive into it and invite you to introduce yourself with the who you are, where you are, what you do questions.
My name is Fraixa Albizu Rodriguez. I live in Puerto Rico. I'm currently in San Juan, but I was born in Bayamón, and Bayamón is a big part of me. And I am a printmaker, and I am an educator. And yeah, that's what
Beautiful.
I do. I love teaching people about art, but specifically all the things you can do with print. And I love seeing people learn and get excited.
You said you grew up in Bayamón. What role did art play in that early part of your life?
Art came a little late. I've always been a creative kid. I recently, not like yesterday, but in the past year, I've come to realize that a lot of things that I used to do when I was little, a lot of things that I used to, a lot of toys, that I used to gravitate to when I was little have led me to this path of print. Like I've always liked to draw and paint and create images and create worlds and create characters that I just made up. And I was in my little bubble and I could tell a story for myself. So I've always been this person. Bayamón is special to me because I grew up there. We were talking about my mom. My mom was also a single parent. My dad's around and I love him too, but my dad had a health situation. So my mom raised me and my brother. And while she was working, my grandma also raised me. And they lived in Bayamón. My grandma, she would take me around, and I just have such vivid memories of that community and going around with her, taking here in Puerto Rico, there's it's like a bus system, but it's not really a bus. It's like a van that takes you around. It's called La Pisa y Corre. So I would just do that with my grandma and be around Bayamon and see, go shopping and just experience, help her around. Yeah, that's the important of that. I want to go back. I want to go back to living in Bayamon. But for now, I'm in San Juan. That's closer. But yeah, so art over there started just me playing with toys that I just didn't know that they were similar to print. There are these Sgraffito. It's a black board or a black chalky board that if you scrape it with a sharp pen or tool, you get to reveal color behind. And if you do the design and line work, it actually looks like a dry point or it actually looks like a relief print. It depends on the color underneath. So, like, I really loved doing that. I really loved, they were some toys that I had. They were Barbie inspired, but they were like relief. They were a plate, literally a plate of a relief design. It could be, for example, the face of the doll. And then you would put paper on top of it and you would pass a crayon and you would get a print. And those things are like, now I'm just realizing that they just gave me the first introductions to print. So yeah, apart from that, I used to draw and paint a lot. Of course, everyone finger paints. That's the nicest thing, and draws with chalk. But then I got to be able to take proper art workshops where I understood what acrylic paint was, watercolor paint was, and all these other mediums. So yeah, I took those workshops with my mom. So those were really good memories too. We dream about doing it again. She's retired now, so
Oh, so
it's great.
sweet.
Yeah.
And is she still in your hometown?
She lives close to Bayamon. She
Okay.
has, yeah, she's 45 minutes away from me. Yeah.
Oh,
But I
that's
see her
lovely.
constantly because my big studio is at her house where I have
Mm,
my big press.
I love that you're drawing this through line between what I think people will remember is activities and little toys and childhood memories and print. I know those boards you're talking about, and I never have thought about them in that context of intaglio, but of course they are. You've got a
They look the
scribe, you're
same.
removing your image. Yeah. But when did printmaking in maybe the academic sense or the more formal sense enter your life?
It came in university. Yeah. I always had the feeling that I've seen prints before. I just didn't understand them. Like I said, I obviously had them. I did them as with the toys, but in the formal sense of it, I just didn't understand them. But then when I went to university in Escuela Artes Plásticas, you are required to take a class from, I think, almost all the departments that they have available. And I like that because it gives you options. Like, I went in under the Department of Painting, but then I got a chance to explore sculpture and graphic design and industrial arts and then printmaking. And obviously, I found some that I just put to the side that I just didn't understand, or like I need to make my peace with them, like sculpture. But then others, like printmaking, really stood out to me because it just had all the elements that I already liked in the way that I made art. And I could, I don't know, it opened up a world to me. So yeah, I started in painting and then I changed to printmaking, I think that same year. So yeah, I was like, I took one class and I was already in love. I want to do intaglios my whole life. I want to do relief prints my whole life.
Oh, that's beautiful. And so do you think it was the process that really made you fall in love or the aesthetic at the end? It sounds like you just found that you were almost instantly connected to it, but I wonder if it was that all of the above, what was it that really set the chord perfectly on your heartstrings?
Like manual things. I'm not, I guess I have half of my personality is like tomboy, half of it is girly pop. I don't know. In the middle is like a weird hobbit person. Yeah, I all those personalities of me found themselves in the process making of printmaking. I remember when I did my first dry point, I just liked the idea of just having my drawing and scraping it and just passing it on this plate that later I could decide how I wanted to ink it and how I wanted to how I wanted the image to look like at the end. For example, I could add chincole, I could add color, I
Mm.
could illuminate it, I could cut it up and do a collage. I could do a whole bunch of things that just blew my mind. And those were part of the I see them as part of the process. I don't see them as like the end result. The end result for me is like when it's framed and I show it. But yeah, the same with relief print, just carving a piece. That took some time to understand because I also had to think like the other way around to get the image. But that was also challenging because I don't know, I've never thought about that way. And yeah, I
Yeah.
definitely the process. And in Taglio, I could sit there for hours waiting for that plate to be in the asset, just like I'm waiting. And the reveal is so amazing. I love that. I love that.
It's beautiful. The work that you do as a now an adult artist, it works a lot with childhood experiences.
Yeah.
And when did that come into your practice and why?
And that's a good question. I don't know when, but I always had this very naive way of thinking, which I've had several reality checks be like a truck, bam, just wake up. And
Mm.
I think is that personal experience that lets me to talk about the experience of being a child and how a lot of things can just mold you into different can mold your identity into one way, can mold how trauma works, it can mold a lot of who you become as an adult. And that's what I'm most interested in.
Mm.
I think also from personal experiences, like I said, of course, having I'm not that naive now. I've grown and I read a lot and I am highly aware. Now I'm highly aware, which is a problem.
Mm.
But I don't know that it comes from there. It comes from other things that have happened in my life that I wanted to just reflect on. And yeah, creating stories it's the most natural thing to me to not put myself in it, but tell my story through it.
Mm. Do you find that it's useful to understanding your own story and your own narrative as you move through the world to explore it and reprocess it in your visual arts?
I, for me,
Yeah.
definitely, yeah, it has helped me in a lot of things that I also thought that I had understood. It pushes me back. I'm like, okay, maybe I didn't get it. Let me reflect on this or look back again. But yeah, definitely.
Yeah. That is such a powerful practice. And I feel like lesson as we get older is how the way we make meaning continues to shift. And so
Yeah,
you might look back and you think, oh, like I knew what that was about, or like I've processed that, or I'm over that, or I'm okay with this because this happened too. All these different frameworks that we create to make our life feel like it's linear.
yeah,
um, but then as you get older, sometimes you're like, oh, I'm not over that at all. you know? or or you
Mm-hmm.
say, wow, like that, I thought I understood how that affected me, but I didn't. And I think that, yeah, using the art making process as a tool in that journey of coming to know ourselves, yeah, is so powerful.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I, like you said, when I was in university, I started more and more questioning all these things that I thought I understood and all the things that were happening to me. That's when I was like, wait, maybe I should, I don't know, try to do it through my work. But it was hard. It's not an easy thing to do, too. Because I'm a very, I mean, I talk to people and I'm social, but I'm a very shy person and I'm a very, ¿cómo se dice?
Like introvert.
Introvert. Yeah.
Mm.
So it's hard to be vulnerable in that way. Um, and so it makes sense too. Yeah. I remember talking to you now. In university, I was doing just like classwork for the etching class and or like homework. And the pieces that I was doing, I've always loved drawing portraits. And I was doing a series which in my head, and I think in one art paper that I had to do to justify my work and whatever, I put this name, but I called it Inner Monologues. So I was just doing a series of inner monologues where there were a bunch of things or a bunch of themes that I was really interested in exploring and learning more about. And I would just do an art piece about that, but it would also reflect like how I felt or an experience I did. I remember there's this one piece that I did that is like a face with it's hiding itself, it's separated, and it has to do with the different selves that we present to society. So I was just questioning that how we have to be different, and other pieces will be like how will be themes of like how I would have to choose to think with my brain or think with my heart, like how hard of a decision is that. So yeah, it goes on from there to then going really back to my childhood and just understanding how a little kid can change at a certain like a young age and not understand the gravity of it until you're grown up. And
Mm.
yeah, also other themes of these are the ones that I like question every day, like how do friendships evolve when you're an adult. I just I found those themes like no one was talking about them, or I didn't found it, a lot of people talking it through their art. So I would just do work of that.
Yeah. Yeah. Adult friendships is a really
It's tough.
interesting
It's tough.
topic. Yeah. Because I feel like or especially I feel like I still hold friendships to this standard of being a kid. And I was telling you about my best friend growing up before we got on to start recording, and how we were just obsessed with each other. We were so in love with each other, and like not in the eros way, but like in like this platonic way of you just think
Yeah.
they're the best, and you can spend 3-4 nights a week with them, and you just share. There's like a level of not having your guard up and having a level of intimacy with a childhood friend that it feels like I'm always trying to get back to. Like I'm always trying to find like my Ollie, but as an adult.
Yeah. And when you find out that
Yeah.
that's hard, it's like heartbreak. To me, is it was heartbreaking when I came to that realization. I also had experiences like the one you mentioned, and I don't know. I just the only way to process them was through writing and through drawing and making something, telling
Mm.
that story in some way to see if someone would relate. Because is the I don't know. I don't know how to make it better. Like I said, I don't have the answer to why adult friendships for putting it as an example, are hard, or
Mm.
why trauma takes a lot of time to acknowledge and get over, and or not get over, but just learn to live with it, even if you don't accept it through, but just I don't know. But yeah, yeah, it's just learning to be heartbroken a little bit by being an
Mm.
adult.
Yeah. Learning to be heartbroken a little bit, I feel like, is such a journey.
Yeah,
Because I don't ever want to be heartbroken at all.
I know. Listen, I like my dream for everyone is that they never like they get to a point of truly happiness and not feeling bad. That's what I strive for each and every day. That's part of the reason that like I wake up and I consider myself a hopeful person. So that's part of I wish someday I will get there. I'm not there yet, but I do try.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's so much learning and growing to do in that journey, too. That it's
Mm,
even if you're not successful and reaching the Zen state of no more pain,
yeah.
on the way there, you learn a lot. Yeah. And so you do a lot of traditional printmaking, but you also do installation work as well.
Yeah.
I'd love to hear you talk about how that fits into your practice, and then particularly the practice of storytelling, right? Because doing installation is such a different way of creating narrative than just your classic single image art making.
Yeah. Installation is a format that I truly love. I get all giddy and like really ridiculous when I see an installation in a gallery. I'm like, oh my God, I get to be a part of this. Yes. And since I knew about it. I didn't know again the formal term for it, but when I understood what it was and the freedom that it gives you to, for example, in printmaking, your work most of the time is in 2D form, but to take it not 3D, but like full scale, to be able to adapt it to a certain space, right? If that is what you want, that is amazing to me. I knew that that was what I wanted to do, and that's what I want to keep doing. It's tough because it's big things always. Like you have to have
Mm.
boxes and boxes of things, but it's so rewarding to see your work just stand out and have such a presence. So yeah, the installation that I did in the first one is my graduating work, which is it mimics a doll, a playhouse, like an outdoor playhouse, and then there's scenes happening. So, for example, that work that I did, seeing it in a space and then having kids around it. My favorite audience, I'm biased. Adults are cool, but kids, having kids around and seeing it and go around, and I made it so they can like crouch down and see, and then someone can lift them and they can see the upper part. I love that. I want to keep doing it. I have this dream for, which is what I'm working on, which is my solo exhibition, that I want it all to be an installation.
Mm.
And of course, it'll have a whole narrative. I think I spent most of last year finishing a draft. I was writing the story as if it were like for a movie because I felt like that would help me make it more sense, make it make
Mm.
sense throughout. And since I wanted something that people could travel as if they were reading like a book or something. But yeah, that's what I love. And print makes it so much easier because since you can make multiples and a bunch
Hmm.
of them, and I do print mostly. I've gone back to paper. I feel like years back I was like, nah, paper here, whatever. But now I've gone back to paper. But most of the prints that I've done for installation are in fabric because also, which is again part of the benefits of going to art school, art uni, I got to learn how to sew. I got to learn how to do embroidery, how to work with textiles. And that combined with print, I could make it so much bigger. I could just add and add. And yeah, in sculpture again, I get help because it's not my best, but I try to have a clear image to what I want to do. But yeah, installation to me is the best. It's so cool to see, so cool to experience, and yeah, I don't think I've heard of. There must be, but I think I have never heard someone come out of an installation and say I didn't like it. They've always, the ones I've seen are have been cool, have been really great.
Yeah, and I think so fitting with your interest in communicating with children and the childhood experience. Because I feel like there's something that always makes me feel a bit like a little kid going into an installation, because
Yeah,
it feels like you said a dollhouse, but there's also forts that you build as kids and the
yeah,
pillow forts and with blankets, or go like lived in a really woodsy part of the world, and so like going into the woods and digging a little hole and building a shelter and being a little hobbit in there.
yeah,
um and so that human made construction that you fit inside really always has a bit of that sense of childhood wonder to it. So it's a really effective vehicle for conveying those ideas.
yeah, yeah. I used
Yeah.
to, when I was little, I cardboard was the best. Cardboard is still the best material. It I don't know, even the smell of it is great. But then apart from cardboard, I used to be a very small. I'm still like quite skinny, but I used to be very small. So just opening, like I would do my forts with an umbrella and just put
Hmm.
a blanket on top of it. Would be the umbrella and then half of a sofa, and that would be my fort. So yeah, you just reminded me of that. I love that. I could
Yeah.
spend hours, and that could be a whole installation, for example.
Yeah. And speaking of building things, I love to hear you also talk to founding Ciclos Gráficos.
Ciclos is the passion project. Is the Ciclos to me is I wanted is I don't want to sound like selfish, but it was my way of leaving my mark in the university that I didn't think it would transcend and just stay with me and develop into this whole thing that it is now, this whole baby that's what I call it. So yeah, and it's a huge part of me. It started in university. I wanted to do something. I didn't know what it was at first. I quickly decided that it was going to be a portfolio once I saw them and I saw the formality and the tradition. But I wanted to do something for the print department that could last and could, it's not defined the word that I'm looking, but, and it's not marked, but I don't know, that could show the generation of us, the students and the kids that we were there and we loved and we like built this community. And yeah, I just wanted to do something. I felt so empowered by the workshop, the print shop. And yeah, I quickly understood. I knew what print portfolios were, but the university's library has more in their collection that I didn't know about, which was from a professor that was called Consuelo Gotay. She's still around. She doesn't give class anymore, but she's a well-known artist, and she used to give a class that was a book arts, and she did a couple of theme portfolios with the students. So when I saw that, I was so amazed and inspired. I was like, why
Mm.
don't we have this? This used to be a thing. Wait a minute, what's happening? And yeah, I managed to convince enough people to like, hey, we can do this. We have the abilities, we can raise money. If no one wants to support us, then we just raise money old school. Let's sell
Hmm.
things, let's do events. If we can do them in the university, that's perfect. because we don't have to spend money, extra money, our own money in a venue. And that's what happened. Luckily, I had people who, when I pitched the idea, came back sometime later and they were like, hey, let's do it. And then I felt comfortable to do that. And yeah, it developed into a whole project and we did our first print portfolio. I didn't participate it because I was coordinating it, and it was like a conflict of interest, which I learned too. I was like, oh man, I want to participate. Wait, no, I can't. What's happening? Because we were having judges to pick who were going to
Oh, okay.
participate.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
was the reason. So it doesn't matter. I still designed the portfolio, the look of the portfolio, and reprinted it. That was a whole thing we did in exhibitions. It was very gratifying. I we give Before that, we were doing, like, once the people who were going to participate were chosen, we since they've never done like big editions before, we would stay late at the workshop and do like mentorship. Okay, since we're considered the juniors or seniors in the workshop, whatever that means, because we feel as
Uh-huh.
insecure as you guys, but I feel like I can pull a print without my fingerprints showing. We would give mentorships during the afternoons, and it would be great because they could learn, they would improve. I saw my friends getting better and better, and it felt so different because it's not like a professor saying it to a student. It's your own
Mm.
colleague. You're like, I'm at the same level as you. I'm just helping you out and you're helping me. And that was amazing. That Yeah. So Ciclos comes from student to community, to working together, not being, helping each other out and not being a stone in the path, but being a guide, and also a yes person. Let's do it. I don't know how we're gonna do it, but I have confidence enough in this idea, and I trust it, that let's go.
Yeah.
And that's, to me, that's the best mentality to have always.
Yeah. And it exists as a nonprofit that still hosts portfolios. Is that correct?
Yes, yes. Now, as of 2021, we got incorporated and we are a nonprofit. And I'm very happy because it definitely opened doors to
Mm.
funding and to be able to collaborate with more spaces and be taking a little bit more serious than just a student based project. Yeah, we do still do portfolios. Right now, we're taking a break because 2024 was a huge year for us. We finished an exhibition. We had a collaboration with another institution here in Puerto Rico called La Liga de Arte, which we did a huge printmaking festival and a steamroller event. And we also were in another exhibition that was with the Institute of Culture of Puerto Rico, which is an important one. So it was a lot. It was a lot. We are a team of five, and it's a lot where some of us are still studying, or some of us, like me, want to keep on studying, and we need to take it easy now. So we are
Yeah.
taking a break, but we are looking forward to continue doing uh, print portfolios. We have a meeting tomorrow, actually, and we're
Oh,
gonna,
nice.
I hope it'll be good because we get to talk about how we can grow in the future that we want. So yeah.
When you were talking about all the different events that you do, it also reminded me that you're really passionate about the history of printmaking in Puerto Rico. And when did you start studying that or being interested in how that intersects with the present of printmaking in Puerto Rico?
Yeah, with that, I think since the first class that I took of print, and having getting the opportunity and the privilege to study with these masters, I consider them masters, that were professors in my department, that was the beginning of it. Learning later who their masters were, like Lorenzo Mal and Rafael Tufino, just seeing the work and being amazed of the quality, the quantity, and the dedication, and how they could. This was their life. They didn't need to look for something else to juggle their life. You know how some people have other jobs that I call them the real world job. I also
Mhm.
have. I consider my museum job the real world job,
Yeah.
even though it's like art related. Sometimes it's it gets to that annoying thing that it's not really what I passionately want to do, but it's close enough. But yeah, I saw these people, these masters, and I kept on learning. I remember the first one I was obsessed with was Lorenzo Mal. He was the mentor of the professor who taught me screen print and who taught me calligraphy. And just having, like, he would talk about his teacher in such a passionate and beautiful way, but also this is how things got done because this is the way it should be. And you have to, with fun, you also have to have determination. You have to have a very
Mm.
clear mindset of what you want to do and you want to achieve with art, with everything else that you want to do. Yeah, it started with that. I had a very strong woman who was the head of the Department of Printmaking, who is Aida Landing, which every day I'm grateful that she was my teacher. She also is still around. The SGC is actually, the conference is dedicated to her.
Mm.
And I'm grateful that she really taught me. She gave me a few reality checks too. And yeah, she taught me, like, you have to know to research. You need to know how to doing the process correctly because it's time you're investing in this. And even if you don't, like, your goal is not to sell, but you want to master this, you learn from your mistakes. Don't keep tripping on the same stone. And also to another thing that I learned from her is to stand up for what's right and what you want. All those things. It taught me. It made me more aware of what the role of printmaking was. Printmaking has always been a la ofensiva, to offense, to attack, to denounce things that are wrong. That's how. Of course, we have beautiful artworks that are not about that, are about our traditions and culture. But we also have a lot of artworks that are very, like, they talk about injustice or they talk about real problems that are happening. So yeah, like all those experiences and all seeing all that art, that's what really got me like, wait, then this art that I loved it because I could do all these things, then it also has this other superpower. That's pretty cool. And then I got obsessed. I got obsessed. And yeah, it's also, I don't like to talk about it that much because it was a thing that also I needed to not get over, but acknowledge. But most people in Puerto Rico may notice that my last name is related to Pedro Albizu Campos, who was a public figure, who was an activist and a nationalist here in Puerto Rico. So when I was little, obviously I learned all that because they made me hyper aware of my last name and the importance of it. But then seeing print also be used to have the same discussions that he was saying and relate, like, I don't know, that whole thing is also a part of why it interests me like that. I'm not as active as he was. I am aware he was like his, not in a bad way, but like he was more extreme in his way of thinking that things should be resolved. But yeah, it's still, it intrigues me to learn more and to just see the role of printmaking in it. I'm also,
Yeah.
right now that I'm doing my master's, and I'm doing my master's in what you consider cultural studies or cultural studies and art management. Learning more and more about cultural studies, I also go back to like the way print is used in other countries as their like the art that is their identity, and then how in Puerto Rico is it used to be like that, but then it wasn't at some point, and now it's back. That resilience, if you want to, I know that's a word. We Puerto Ricans are like, resilience again. But yeah, it's a resilience in print. But yeah, all those things, all the reality of Puerto Rico and its situation makes me more interested in print, makes me more most of these again these artists of the 50s and 60s that who were masters of my professors, they were activists too. Like how could they transmit their emotions, that what they wanted to say through the art? What were they mad about that they transmitted through their art? And it's really inspiring. It's really inspiring. We have a lot to learn through that.
Yeah. And I think in speaking of all of that, you and I are in the middle of, at the very beginning of working on a pretty exciting project together that hopefully helps explore some of that. Do you want
Yeah.
to talk about that a little bit too?
Yes. I'm very excited for that. It's hopefully a cool documentary and an amazing documentary that will come talking about the history and talking about how print is now in Puerto Rico and the importance of it, its resurgence, and yeah, it's big. It's gonna come big. It's gonna be good. It's gonna come for. We have it for the. It's not gonna air in the conference, but it's gonna be with conference. So
Mm-hmm.
it'll be exciting. I feel like Puerto Rico needs a documentary like this or more documentaries like this. We've only had properly one documentary that was about street poster art, but we don't even have really a chronological timeline of printmaking other than if it's screen print based. We don't have in a video form or a book form. I don't think that's ever been done. So, yeah, I'm excited apart from people learning, but the impact and the contribution that this will have to Puerto Rico and to people who want to study it. Like I wish like just I imagine sometimes the documentary and I think of myself when I was younger. What if I would have seen something like that when I was in high school? Who would I have been? Would I
Yeah.
have been like changed? Would I have been more intrigued? So yeah, I didn't get printmaking in my high school. I know most. I don't know. Where I study, they did other things, but I never got printmaking. So my first, like I said, interaction with it was in university. But if only I had in history class talk about printmaking, it's so vital. It was there. It was
Yeah.
there from the beginning of creating a cultural identity for Puerto Rico. I was again with my master degree. I was talking in class. We were talking because right now there is sadly there was a motion. I think that's what you call it from the president of the Senate, uh, who made this motion up to eliminate the Institute of Culture of Puerto
Mm.
Rico and just put it under a different department. I think it was commerce, and but just thinking that this crazy, and then thinking, I rapidly go to printmaking to everything. So
Yeah.
it's like, can you imagine all that could be lost? I don't know. I feel like Puerto Rico needs this, needs all the projects that are based into foster art and to save the heritage that we have. But yeah, it's so important. So I really want this documentary. I'm very excited for it. And I saw what you did with Oaxaca, and I don't know. I see it. I love it. Chills get to me every time I see it. It's so beautiful. It's so authentic and respectful, and also personal. Like it's like you and Reynaldo and Chris's love letter to Oaxaca. Honestly,
Mm,
it's so good. It's so good.
thank you. Wow.
Yeah,
No, I'm so excited to work with you on this and to be even a small part of telling this important story, this beautiful story, this huge story. I'm just like, my anxiety is, oh gosh, I hope we do right by it because it's so hard to condense something so complex. I think that we can just do our best. And I feel if you just waited around until you thought you could do something, until you knew you could do it perfectly, you wouldn't ever do anything. You just have
that's
to
true.
get in there and learn and make mistakes and do your best. And then on the other side, something exists that didn't exist before. And yeah, we're so excited to work with you and to have your insights and to help you guide us in this and tell this story. And on the other side, have something that we're all really proud of that tells at least one part of this history and this present. And hearing
Yeah,
you talk about all the different activists, it's so exciting. And yeah, I can't wait to dive in. So we'll be there and then we'll be at SGCI as well, doing a lot of we'll be talking to historians and doing archives for the past. And then because SGCI is going to be in San Juan in just a few months, it's going to be so
yeah,
exciting to see the living, breathing, active printmaking happening in process to get a vision of the now too. So it's going to be good. It's going to be big. We're going to be
yeah,
tired, but it's going to be good.
yeah. It's gonna be really big, and yeah, it's gonna
Yeah.
feel a lot like sometimes,
Yeah.
but it's exciting. It's exciting being for first time. If you've never been to San Juan, I have a love and hate relationship with San Juan because I've been there
Mm.
for so long.
Hmm.
San Juan, they say that San Juan doesn't let me work anywhere else, but being there, um, the city has so much history, and when you are learning and you're reading and you're researching and you're walking down the streets and you compare and see, it's not the same. It's not everything is the same, but most of the things you just, I don't know, I get chills. I start to
Mm.
think of, imagine if I could time travel. It's lovely, honestly. It's lovely. And of course, it's a privilege to be able to experience it and be there and to have old San Juan still standing, even if sometimes it doesn't want to stand. The streets just want to go down. But yeah, it's a wonderful town.
I'm just really looking forward to being there and learning more and being there in the community of printmakers. And if anyone wants to help support us in this project, we're still raising funds for it. And you can learn more all about that at helloprintfriend.com. And you can get thank you gifts like prints, and you can be a part of making something important in the world. So definitely check that out, y'all.
Yeah.
That it has been such a delight to talk with you. You're such a beautiful and interesting person. And I'm so lucky that I get to work with you and know you, and that I have so much to look forward to on that. So I think I'm sure we'll be seeing each other in a lot of documentary planning meetings between now and March. But I'm also so excited to see San Juan and to see more of you and to work with you.
Yeah. I'm very excited. I'm very excited. I'm very grateful that our paths collide, and I don't know, we're collaborating now. I'm so grateful. Thank you. Thank you to you and Reynaldo and to Chris. And yeah, so happy.
So happy. And of course to Mitchell Press, who donated that press, and we did the giveaway and it ended up with you, and then that was just the
Yeah,
beginning. So it's
that's the
we're
craziest of
destined. We're
crazy
destined to
story.
make good print things in the world together.
Yeah, yeah. No, I'll always thank you, Miranda, for the work that you do for not just right now for me in Puerto Rico, but again, I think you're the MVPs of print podcast. You always get it out there. I've feel like you're the, I don't know if this is a weird comparison, but you know that guy from what's the Hot Ones that he always give the best interviews because he always has the best questions. I feel like that's the same as you in this podcast. It's so interesting. Like it's not just like any other interview. I don't know. It makes me, again, it feels personal. It feels so inviting. I've always felt like that with your podcast. And this is not just me throwing all the flowers, but honestly, you guys are the MVPs, and it is an honor to be with the big ones.
Wow. Thank you so much. We're so excited to work with you and that we found you and that we're going to collaborate. So many more good things to come. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
If you like this episode, we have a Patreon where you can support this podcast and get bonus content, like Shop Talk Shorts with past guests. But the very best thing you can do to support this podcast is listen, rate, follow, and share with your fellow print friends around the world. This episode, like all episodes, was written and produced by me, Miranda Metcalf, with editing by Timothy Pauschak and music by Joshua Weber. I'll see you in 2 weeks.